Hey, Dina, what are you doing? Listen,
I'm making way for your words in my brain.
Oh, I see. I thought you were trying to do like breaststroke from your forehead or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Hey, listeners,
No.
if you're on YouTube, you got to check out what Dina just did because she's hilarious. And did you know we actually do have a YouTube channel if you're kind of new to our podcast? And yes, we upload all of our podcasts, our fun things, because we do some crazy things sometimes and just some weird things. Sometimes it's nice watching us instead of just listening to us. But for today's episode, we're going to talk about Under the Microscope. But before I tell you exactly what we're talking about, Dina, I'm just wondering, what do you have a definition for meal replacement? Like if I said, what is a meal replacement? Or if one of your athletes are like, hey, Dina,
That's
what's a
funny.
meal replacement? Have you ever thought
Wow.
about that?
That's so funny, Bob. Because if it's replacing a meal, how is it a replacement?
Right. That's
I don't
exactly
know.
my point. Like
Well, and then your brain
substitution, maybe? I don't know.
substitute for chomping on not
Yeah.
chomping on food. I think of drinkables or like an MRE. So it's this like
Yeah.
one thing to your protein, carb, fat,
Right.
and whatever else you can jam in there
Yeah.
instead of multiple items on a plate or in a bowl.
Exactly. And that I think is key what you just said. So one, I don't think there's a definition of meal replacement. But two, I think what you hit on that was like multiple things on your plate, right? So
Yeah.
today, listeners, we're going to put under the microscope one product that is I don't know if you call it a meal replacement shake. It is, they call it an all-in-one shake. But
Yep.
the reason why we're picking on these, and we just found one that we want to comment on. I've actually had quite a few athletes use this one, and that's why
Yeah.
I chose this one. But really, the whole all-in-one or the whole replacement or the whole whatever we want to call it, it's become so popular like in the past 10, 15 years, right, Dee? I mean, with
Yeah.
food manufacturing, but also call it what you want with an increase in busyness in schedules and life. I feel like a lot of people are going towards the what can I just like grab and go that has a ton of nutrients, that doesn't have a lot of sugar, has a lot of protein. You know what I mean? It's like checking
Yeah.
the boxes. And I feel like there's some companies who are doing a much better job these days than what we had 15 years ago, right? 15 years ago it was like whole bunch of sugar and a protein shake. Okay,
Yeah.
call it good.
Yes.
Or things that tasted like chalk, right?
Oh, yeah. Chalk, straw, it didn't mix
Yeah.
if it was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
powder and almost unbearable
Yeah.
to consume. Well, we're talking about Kachava, which if you heard our...
Kachava.
Is that how you
Kaching.
say it?
Kachava. I think it is.
Okay. Bob, I actually haven't tasted this product myself. Have you?
I have not. So
Okay.
that is a disclaimer. Neither of us have tried this, so we don't know what the taste is like. We can only comment on not only our athletes using it, but also what we will pick apart in terms of the ingredients and the nutritionals.
They do make reference, by the way, when you're talking about meal replacement, their marketing all-in-one nutrition shake. But I do see on one of the pages it says 15 meals per bag, which I
Interesting.
think we do need to address in this conversation.
So yes, there's a lot to this, right? Let's
Yeah.
unpack it first. So
Yep.
yes, listeners, there's a lot of these meal replacement all-in-one shakes. Call it whatever you want. There's a lot of them on the market, right? So pick whichever one. We are definitely not shaming the fact.
No.
Like I have used things like this in the past, absolutely. In a crunch, right? I try. You know, I think most of our listeners know, like, I try to have my smoothie. I've said this before on previous episodes. I make a double serving smoothie most mornings. If I'm out and about, I take the other second serving with me that serves as a, whatever you want to call it, snack, meal replacement, whatever. I don't think it's really a meal replacement, by the way. And I don't even think my smoothies are all in one. I'm going to really contest that statement all in one. But my point is, like, we are definitely not judging because we all live in the same world right now, right? We're super busy. There's a time and a place for these kind of products. I fully believe. Now, because we're looking at this specific product, yes, we are going to highlight some pros and cons of this specific product. And obviously, there are different products on the market, but hopefully the information we provide you today, you can take it to evaluate other meal replacement or all-in-one shakes or things of this nature.
That's a great point, Bob. The things that we touch on applying that to other products that are similar. And always we're trying to provide education and other ways to think about use of products, where you put your money, and how it might or might not support what you're looking for.
Yep.
So this is a great one. Actually, as you're saying, like the emergence or evolution of these kind of products, I think this is one that stands out as one of the more popular ones. So I'm excited, Bob, to kind of walk through this line of all-in-one shakes.
Well, they've definitely done their job in terms of marketing. Let's just put it that way, because people do know about Kachava, right? And if you don't, that's cool too, right? I feel like I think my first introduction was actually one of my athletes who were like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" Right? Because we get that quite a bit. I'm like, "Oh, well, let me take a look at it." Right? Yeah. I think I would really like to start, Dee, first by identifying what you said earlier, because I feel like that's where we need to start with the whole meal replacement or all-in-one. I think where you were going with that, and I do want to obviously look at the pricing too. I think where you're going with that is when I look at the nutrition facts label, and I'm just on chocolate, right? It's just the one that I chose for their flavor. The serving size is 2 scoops, and in that 2 scoops, there are 240 calories. I don't know what world we're living in, but that is not a meal replacement for me. I mean, I get maybe some people. Well, no, I don't even get some. No, right?
I can't think of anyone that that energy, amount is sufficient for a meal. So
let's just say it's not a meal. Okay, maybe it is. Maybe that's why they say all-in-one shake. Now we're going to get to the whole all-in-one here in a second. But okay, this is not a meal replacement. Just from a caloric density standpoint, there's no way it's a meal replacement. Okay. With that said, Dee, I know, did you do the numbers, the cost analysis? Because I know you love doing that.
Oh, I know. Well, I don't think it comes in single servings, so you do have to purchase a bag.
The big bag, yep.
And again, if you just go on their website to make a purchase and buy the bag and, do the math from the 15 servings, and they even do it for us on their website, but it's $4.66 per serving. That's not a subscription amount or anything. So that's a little under $5 for this 240 calories. I can think of a lot of other things that might align with the nutritional profile on a macronutrient basis that's like under $1. But, and this is part of the maybe magic of this formulation, is they add a whole bunch of other stuff that you wouldn't just find in apple and peanut butter, for example, or whatever similar, not that that's similar at all to this profile, but cost-wise, I'd say that's a decent amount.
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up. Like where my mind went was like, okay, let's call it $5, right? Just to even and make the math. Okay. So I'm like, okay, for $5, I'm going to get 240 calories. Now, again, we're going to go into, under the microscope here in a second, but I'm like, $5 for 240 calories. What if I go to like Chipotle and get a burrito that's 1,000 calories, and I can get that for $10?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it. This is where under the microscope comes to play, because the burrito doesn't have many of these same ingredients. However, you can also argue that there are different food nutrient densities in the real food, the beans, the chicken, the steak, you know what I mean? So there's an argument here, but let's get beyond that. Listen, the reason people choose this is because of convenience, and because they're looking for something that is a little more, let's just call it rabbit ears, healthy, right? Whatever that may mean for people. I feel like what people, when they gravitate towards Kachava, they're looking for things that are added in that potentially will impact their health, both physical and cognitive health, from a positive standpoint. Okay, so that's kind of my overall 30,000-foot view. Now, so we talked about the calories, talked about the cost. I like, we kind of talked about this before. I'm always going to look at the ingredients first before I look at the nutritionals, even though we jumped at calories. I'm looking at the ingredients, Dee, and like the mantra usually is, oh my gosh, if it has a long ingredients list, don't do it, because, you know what I mean? Well, there are exceptions to that rule. And this, I feel, is one of the exceptions, because most of the ingredients are not crazy, but there are literally probably like 20 lines of ingredients, right? And there are some things that I cannot pronounce, but they're not chemicals, right?
It does say 85 plus.
85.
Superfood, nutrients, plant-based ingredients. And I wonder, Bob, are you adding 85 things to your smoothie in the morning?
There's no way. That's the thing, right? But you know, to that point, I'm just looking at this, like, there's no way, like, in their super fruit blend, I mean, can I get coconut nectar, acai berry, organic maki, camu camu, organic jujube? That's just a fun word to say, jujube. Organic blackberry, organic blueberry, organic raspberry, organic acerola, organic, this is one I can't pronounce, D. Baobab? B-A-O-B-A-B. Baobab.
I'm just going to let you keep trying.
Say it with me. Baobab. Organic goji, organic papaya. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no way I get this in my, like, I would have to literally have 85 different containers in my kitchen to do this, right? So again, just because it's a long ingredients list here, like, there are a lot of dried like veggies and fruits, and there's, what else is in here? Like, there's some fiber blends, there's some omega essential fatty acids in here, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, plant proteins, pea protein, brown rice protein, amaranth, some whole grain proteins. I'm like, you've got my attention is what I'm saying, Kachava. Like, I'm really, like, I want to keep reading, because this is the way my brain works, D. I'm looking at the first couple lines and I'm like, wow, these sound really good. I want to try to find something not good in here now, because, you know, they've got my attention, and I'm like, And as I'm going through this, D, and you can please let me know your feedback, I don't see anything. Now, of course, we're not talking about someone who may have a food intolerance or food allergy, right? That's aside. I'm not seeing anything that would steer me 100% away from this. So it has some gums in it. So if you're going to get really nitpicky, yes, it's got guar gum and xanthan gum and some natural flavor. I've talked about that before in previous Under the Microscopes. Not a huge fan of those. I know why they're in there, but I'm just not a huge fan of those. But of all the other things, of the 85 ingredients, and it's only those 3 that I'm really picking out, D, I don't know. You see where I'm going with this? Like, I feel like there may be, if the taste is good, which my athletes have told me it is.
Yeah.
I don't know about the ROI, right? But I do agree with a lot of these ingredients that they're putting in here.
Quality ingredients that cover a wide array of the things we look for.
Yep.
Like you're saying, the prebiotic, probiotics, the omega protein sources. It's gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, vegan, non-GMO, no artificial anything in it. Yeah. So yeah, from an ingredient perspective, definitely hits the mark there.
And I get, like, that alone, D, tells me quality. And then in my mind, I think pricing. You've got quality ingredients. I will pay for quality ingredients, which is why we are seeing almost, what did you say, $5 a serving for 66, something like that?
Yeah, just under,
if it's not, So I get it. Like, I can actually justify that price. It doesn't mean I would pay that price, but I can justify the price based on the ingredient profile. Now, one thing I did want to mention is, because sometimes you'll see like these proprietary blends, right? Because I was actually kind of relating this Kachava to, like, let's just call it a multivitamin, right? Okay. Well, this is kind of like that, in addition to 10 million other things, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, if this is going to kind of replace almost a multivitamin, we have to kind of be careful with that, because there are not similar amounts of let's call it B vitamins, iron, potassium, whatever is in here, right? If you're taking a supplement, obviously, as we've spoken about previously, you want to make sure that supplement does its job, right? You need to make sure it's the right type, the right dose, you're taking it for the right reason. Absolutely. I just feel like if you take too much of an all-in-one shake like this, and you're taking certain supplements, and you're taking too much, like maybe you're having like 3 of these shakes a day, I just kind of worry. I don't know for sure if it would happen, but I just kind of worry, like, would that be too many micronutrients? Would it be too much? I don't know if we know the answer to that, but I just wanted to also say I do appreciate that they list every single micronutrient with the milligrams, micrograms, whatever. I appreciate that so people, our consumers, our listeners can see exactly how much zinc is in one serving or whatever. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. But I also get scared because I feel like more people are reaching to these all-in-ones as a go-to in addition to potential supplements that they're taking that may push them overboard and may, emphasis on may, cause negative consequences down the road.
I had a couple thoughts there as you look at the fortification with the minerals and vitamins. Yeah, I mean, this is super nitpicky, Bob, but I these days I actually don't like things that are fortified with folic acid.
Why is that?
In my work in genomic studies, those that have gene SNPs that affect activation to the active form of folate. If there's some gene SNPs present and you're loading with folic acid, that can actually cause a number of issues, or we're seeing some issues there that actually manifest in very negative ways. So this is not, and this is something, you'll see conventional debate on, but that flagged me a little bit. The other part here is just with those numerous ingredients, we always have the label. We can see 25 grams protein and so on, but I just don't know when I look at like the quote unquote superfood component of this, I don't know how many micrograms of each thing, and do I need to know that would be a question, but is it...
Good point.
It's very attractive to see like all of these phenomenal, maybe powerhouse superfood blah blah ingredients, but I wonder how much jujube or baobab is in it, and if that's really an effective dose. I don't know.
That's a really solid point, and I will only speak because I actually did research on mackay berry, and this has organic mackay in it. I did research on that because mackay berry itself, or the extract, has a higher ORAC or antioxidant level than blueberries and dark chocolate. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, like in my research, I dove into how much does it take to have those benefits?
Yeah.
So that's a great point, Dee. I mean, a lot of these superfoods, like, great that they're in there, but are they what we call clinically effective doses, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'm just asking you too, because you create food products and things too, Bob. Is the limiter just trying to quantify and control all of that, even though this is an established product? But what is the downside? Would that turn me away as a potential buyer if you told me there was 2 micrograms of camu? Like, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
So would that really turn me away from buying this product?
It's
on
a
the other
difficult,
end,
it's a difficult question because I feel like some things, like these superfruits, there's really not a lot of research in terms of what proper doses are, right? Not in all of them.
Yeah.
So a company like this would have to say, oh yeah, it maybe it is 2 micrograms of camu, but then what they have to do is actually educate the consumer to say this is the proper, you know what I mean? So it's a huge mountain that they're climbing, which is why they don't do that. I'll say there are other things. Let me look at the ingredients, like the probiotic and prebiotic blend. Those things, I get a little, I don't want to say perturbed, but like because you reference like my all around snack company, because I use actually pre and probiotic blend in my energy bites. And to your question, there is I look at the clinically effective dose, but the hard part is trying to get that clinically effective dose per serving without changing. It's not a profit thing. Although I guess at the end of the day, yes, it's all about money, right? But it's more about how will that powder, essentially, because that's what they're using, and that's what I use in my energy bites, how will that powder change the food science of that particular food or powder. So will it make it more dry? What does it do to binding capacity? Does it completely disrupt the taste profile, right? So there are tricky things that companies need to go around. I mean, when I do that with my energy bites, like I stated on the label on the website, like there are 500 CFUs per serving. So at least people know how many CFUs, colony forming units, by the way. That's what I would like to see on products like this. Like they are putting this in here. I think unless I missed it somewhere, I don't see like the CFUs or the colony forming units. I would love to know that, because the advent of gut health being so popular these days, consumers just want to know, right? Like if someone's taking a probiotic, they're taking a 5 billion or a 40 billion or whatever. Like they may not know what that means, but at least they've seen the numbers before, right?
Yeah.
But it's hard for companies to do that. I get it. I totally get it. But I would, like, if you and I were going to make something like this, we would go deep in science, and we would go deep in education and say, here's why we put 2 micrograms of camu camu, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would want people to know why, and I would want people to know exactly how much is in there and the why behind that.
Yeah. We didn't mention the macronutrient profile.
Oh yeah,
Bob,
let's go to that.
If we want to just touch on that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So 2 scoops.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? We've got, like we said, 240 calories. We've got, as you mentioned, 25 grams of protein, 20 grams of carbs, of which we have 6 grams of fiber, 7 grams of sugars, and 4 grams of added sugars. Along with that, we have 6 grams of total fat, 2.5 of which are saturated. So, and then there's about 450 milligrams of sodium. What would you like to say about that?
I think this is a decent option for a snack, kind of, base again, maybe. And I didn't explore this too much. They have a little recipe section. So you certainly could use this to make more of a meal, adding other things, but that sort of defeats the purpose, maybe.
Totally.
Now we're talking,
Then you've got an $8 snack all of a sudden.
I know. But I mean, by the nutritional profile and talking about the quality of the ingredients and things, I mean, I think if this is in your budget, it's convenient for you. Having this in your toolbox, maybe not the only thing in your toolbox, but I can see and have seen, some of my athletes really enjoy this as an option in between workouts, or, coming home from a workout, getting in a little bit of nutrition here, and then having another meal later on.
Yeah.
It can serve a lot of purposes.
Yeah, for sure.
I think this is a definite positive for their formulation and its use case.
Yeah, it's definitely convenient, right? We know that, right? It's a bag. You can take it with you if you want. I mean, it's a big bag, right? But yeah, I kind of support the concept of this for sure. I do have a couple of things I just want to add here. And to your point earlier, you used apples and peanut butter. Let's use carrots and peanut butter. Let's use celery and peanut butter, like whatever. It's like, okay, well, we talked about the nutrients, but if we're just talking like calorically for a snack to get you from one meal to the other, like, again, I get the convenience, but what about carrots and peanut butter? You know what I mean? Like, what about apples and peanut butter? Like, let's not discount that. I feel like sometimes, we've talked about this on multiple episodes in the past, but like, it's the preparation. If I know that I'm going to be out all day long, me personally, right, I'm going to pack something. I'm going to pack probably a few things, right? I'm going to pack some nuts. I'm going to pack some energy bite, like whatever it is. Like, I'm just going to do that. Maybe Kachava is part of that routine, but what I would say also to support what you said is, like, have it in a rotation, you know what I mean? Like, don't let this be the only thing all the time. So that's one thing. Second thing is, for the life of me, Dee, and please help me with this, I cannot, and I'm usually really good at this, I cannot figure out where the added sugars are coming from. There are 4 grams of added sugar per serving, and I'm looking at these ingredients, Dee. Help me, because I do not see any added sugar. I see fruit veg mix. I'm racking my brain right now. If I had hair, I'd be pulling it out.
Yeah, I am looking here, and because you're looking at the chocolate flavor.
Yeah, there are no Kachava. Help us out. Where are the added sugars coming from? Because I'm not seeing any. I'm really not. Like, I get the total sugars because you've got some, again, veg, fruit, all that kind of stuff, right? But where are we getting the added sugars? I don't know why it even is in there. Regardless,
Yeah.
I know we talked about added sugars before. Like, what were your guidelines for added sugars? Like, you like to see below what per serving?
Well, I like 5 or less.
5 or less.
As
Okay.
just a, you
Yeah.
know, first.
Yeah.
But, oh, well, there is coconut nectar.
Okay.
That's a sweetener, Bob.
It could be a sweetener, yes. Okay.
Right. That's the only thing I can find here.
Man.
Just kind of looking through this long list, but
And that might make sense because it's towards the top of the list. So we know when it's
Yeah,
towards the
yeah.
top, there's more in it, right? So, okay, maybe it's coconut nectar. Maybe, hey, listeners, maybe you can hop over to our Patreon community, patreon.com/ISN podcast, and let Bob know of these ingredients in the chocolate Kachava where the added sugars are. If you know this off the top of your head, please go to our free community, type in there, hey Bob, here's the added sugar for the chocolate Kachava. Because now I need to reach out to Kachava. I'm going to do this, Dee. I'm going to
pretty
ask them
certain-
if it is the coconut nectar.
yeah, I'm pretty certain it is. But also, we'd love to know if you're using Kachava, how you like to use it. Are you?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is this really a meal replacement for you, or you know, just how you kind of bring it into your life? A couple of these flavors do sound pretty enticing, Bob.
They
so
do, don't they?
I'll save
Yeah.
my nickels to
Yeah.
try this out at some point.
Listen, I tell you what, if I'm using this as a snack, Dee, I'm doubling the serving size because I cannot get by with 240 calories. There's no way.
That's a little
me.
light
That's
for
me.
you, yeah.
But then
Well,
I wonder,
even
I'm
me,
like, am
for
I
example.
overdoing things then? Like, then I'm doubling everything. I don't know. Is that good?
1.5, maybe 1.5.
Yeah,
3
yeah. I know. Well, Kachava, you know, I do want to say great job in, you know, kind of promoting what you're trying to do out there. I think there are a couple things that are working really well. I mean, you know, Dina and I brought them up there. I don't think there's really a lot of cons for the most part for
Right.
your product. There's maybe some questions we had. But other than that, you know, whether it's this meal replacement, all-in-one shake, whatever you want to call it, whether you're making your own smoothie, again, we'd love to hear from you and let us know what you're doing for your snacks. I think we've kind of talked about what Dina and I do throughout the day. But yeah, I think, you know, in terms of this under the microscope, I think this is really one of the products that's, you know, I'm just looking at it again, that I think we would probably say, you know what, this probably makes sense. Right time, right place, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Listeners, as always, we love you. Thank you so much for sticking with us, listening to us on a weekly basis. Again, head on over to our Patreon community, sign up for our free community, interact with us, ask us questions. Also, we actually would love your feedback on if you have any special guests you would like us to try to get on our episodes or on our podcast for future episodes. We would love some ideas. We obviously have our list that people we want to go after, you know, try to get on, just make some really stimulating conversation. But, you know, let us know what's on your mind. Head on over to our patreon.com community. And with all that said, Dina, Bob, we all are so just appreciate everything that you do. Hopefully you appreciate everything we do, and head on over to our YouTube channel to watch all of our episodes. We will catch you on the next episode.